What did you do for Halloween?
Took my kids out for Halloween,
right.
and I dressed up as M&M, which was a giant M&M dressed as Eminem. So it's fun.
Right. The last tour you did, you performed at Sonosphere.
Mm-hmm.
How did that compare to performing at Download like 6 years before?
It was a whole different world now. I mean, Download was great, but that was kind of, you know, the band was still fairly new at that point, and then, you know, 6 years later, it was really cool to be at Sonosphere. Right. Such a huge show, and the reaction was amazing, and it was just good to be back playing a festival in the UK again. And anytime you can be on the same bill as, you know, Metallica,
right.
and Megadeth and Slipknot and Motorhead and Anthrax, it's a pretty big deal. So we were pretty honored.
Okay. Got
great reviews too. I mean, there was some websites and some magazines that said, you know, the best bands of the whole weekend were Weezer and Metallica and Fozzy. You know, when you read something like that, I'd say, well, that's pretty cool to know
right.
that, you know, this just out of nowhere they thought that these three were the coolest, and we were one of them. So it was quite amazing.
It's pretty cool. Like we were talking about, just you toured here last summer. Mm-hmm. How did that tour compare to all the other tours you've done? Because you've done quite a lot now. Yeah. You know, you said many times in the interview, the UK is your best market.
Yeah, it's, you know, the States is getting good too, and Australia is always good, and France is opening up, but just the UK has always been like a second home for us since the first tour we did here, I think in 2004. So it's just, we'll always want to play here as much as we can, and we take great pride in the fact that we don't just do London, Manchester, you know, Liverpool, the big ones. We play everywhere, you know, and this tour is our 4th tour here on the Chasing the Grail record. And we've been everywhere, you know what I mean? And
right.
Big, small, medium, we just love to come to England and play, you know, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, as much as in the UK as we can, and we always will do that.
Okay, that's good to know. What's your opinion on the current state of the music industry as a whole?
Well, it's changing, you know, and it has over the last 10 years. Well, I mean, there's pros and cons to everything. I mean, first of all, it's the way that it is. So right. You have to either embrace it or be left behind. And it's now, you know, record sales are basically a fraction of what they used to be, and new music is almost a souvenir for fans to have, okay. to give them a reason to come to the live shows and to buy, you know, a T-shirt or whatever it is. So there's still people like me that I'll always buy every song that I have, but I think differently than a lot of people or a lot of kids nowadays. So you have to just kind of go with that. So in as far as, you know, record companies and actual records, CDs, albums, whatever you want to call them, it is kind of a drag a little bit, because you do spend a lot of time making music, and you want people to enjoy it, and you want people to hear it, and you also want, you know, if there's money to be made, you want to make it, you know, and there still is that, you know, where artists and people are basically taking your art for free a lot of times, which isn't really fair, but you just have to think of other ways to do that, you know, and we always have a really good personal connection with the fans. We have a great VIP, you know, package before the shows. It's almost become like a secret society for Fozzy fans, and that's, you know, that enables us to sit down, have dinner, you know, do sound check for the fans, a private little show, and, you know, people always want to be a part of that. So there is other ways for bands to stay afloat, other than just selling records, but you have to be smart about it.
That's right. So do you think the internet has had a positive influence or a negative influence on the music industry? Well, as far as like iTunes and then downloading torrents and things like that.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, I mean, I used to have a cassette tape when I listened to the radio, and anytime a song would come on that you wanted to have, you'd press record. Right. You know, and then I'd have a whole, you know, cassette recording of 10, 15, 20 songs that would have the DJs, and this is Metallica or whatever, you know, back and forth. So is it really that much different? Just at least now you get good quality sound. Right. So, I mean, the internet, you have to use it as a billboard. It's an advertisement for your band or whatever it may be, and everybody has an opinion on the internet. So it's like, if you're going to go on the internet, you got to tread silently and carry a big stick. Like, you can't be pissed off if you read a bad review on the internet, or if somebody, you know, if somebody's going to listen to my song, does it really matter if they pay 99 cents? Or what if there's a word of mouth that this song is great, this is very cool, and the band is coming to town, and maybe I want to go see them play that song? You know what I mean? So you just got to kind of think ahead of the curve rather than behind it.
I think it's a very proactive way of looking at it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, you have to, right?
I didn't know what you were going to say to that. You know, some people said, oh, you know, it's the worst thing, and some people said, you know, the Beatles have just gone on iTunes.
Yeah.
And there's a few other people, Springsteen was not into iTunes for quite a while. And
there's still some holdouts like AC/DC and Garth Brooks. I think Sabbath is still, it's not all the Sabbath records are on there. So there is still some holdouts. But like I said, I mean, in this day and age, if you're not on iTunes, you don't exist.
Right.
You know, your record doesn't exist. So for us, the most important place to be sold is on iTunes, and then Amazon, because then anybody can get it, and then in the record stores, which are fewer and fewer and fewer nowadays.
Yeah.
So you got to be on iTunes. You really do.
Last time we spoke to you, you said you were in talks of going to Japan. Any update on that?
Yeah, just for whatever reason, we just can't seem to crack into that market, and hopefully, we just got a new booking agent over the summer that we did this before the Sonosphere tour, and that really made a big difference as far as getting, you know, the good bookings and then some of the bigger things, doing, you know, touring with Anthrax and doing the Uproar shows with Avenged Sevenfold and Bullet for My Valentine. And, you know, so hopefully, you know, Japan, I think we do really well there. It's just a matter of, it's the same thing when I was wrestling. It took me a long time to really break into Japan, but once I did, you become, you know, you get popular there. Once you get popular, you can go there for years and years and years. So we'll get our chance. Hopefully next record.
Also, the last time we spoke to you, we talked about the next album after Chasing the Grail. You said it wasn't a rumor; it was true. Any update or any insight you can give?
No, I mean we're working on it right now. I mean all the lyrics have been written for a while, and Rich wrote I think 6 songs already, maybe, or 7 songs. And he actually, if you look in that cabinet there, you want to see some real behind-the-scenes stuff. There's all of Rich's recording stuff that he's going to be writing the next record on right here, probably tonight after the show. He puts his headphones on, and the rest of us do whatever we want to do. And he just that's enough, no more for you. And he'll be writing the record as we go. So we hope to do it December, January, February, and have it out hopefully in June, in time for next summer's festivals.
And is that when Fozzy will return to the UK?
Yes, that's our plan.
Great. Have you had any chance to go to any concerts lately?
Yeah, I just went to, who have I seen recently? I saw Dream Theater a couple weeks ago. I saw Journey this summer, which was good, and Night Ranger. So I try and go to as many as I can if they're bands that I like. Right. You know, so it just has to work out to be in town. Actually, I'm going to Metallica's 30th anniversary show in San Francisco at the Fillmore, which is like a club. And yeah, I just become buds with Lars over the last couple of years, and he asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, fuck, yes. So that'll be cool, so I'm excited about that.
Has the new member of the band settled in?
He's great, man. He's a great player, he's a great guy, he looks cool. He's the missing piece of the puzzle that we didn't know we were missing until we got him. Right. You know what I mean? And it's a whole different thing, just the way he plays, and the sound of the band is so much better. And, I mean, he's a seasoned player. He's played with everybody from metal bands to frickin' Billy Joel and everyone in between, so he knows what he's doing. He's, you know, he made us all a better band. Just by wanting to, you know, play with him and keep up with him. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're really happy to have him, and it's just a great fit, great guy. We love him already, so we're really excited. You've been away from the wrestling business for a while now. Have you been keeping tabs on what's happening? Yeah, always, yeah. It's not like in 2005 when I left wrestling, I was just really sick of it. In 2010, my contract just ran out. We had a bunch of stuff coming up with Fozzy, and I did Dance with the Stars, and I had the second book came out. So, but I still love it and follow and check out what's going on. Watch as much as I can. Right.
You know, over the summer, the WWE took their product slightly a different direction, a bit more, I don't even know how to word it, to be honest, with the CM Punk angle and the Kevin Nash that followed it and things like that. What was your opinion on all of that?
I thought it was really cool the first time they went that way, because it was something different and kind of building a new guy. I think maybe some of it was a little bit too inside. People can't relate to it. The majority of the people can't relate to it, so you kind of gotta stay away from that. You know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, as far as, like, maybe you say, you know, Nash will say he's the first guy that ever had a guaranteed contract in '94, and maybe we know what that means, but, you know, 15-year-old kid doesn't know what it means and doesn't care. He just wants an excuse to boo for Nash and cheer for Punk, you know. So, but yeah, it was cool to shake it up a bit, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Do you think Punk could be a mainstay now in the main event?
I think he pretty much is at this point. Yeah, I mean, it seems he's just as popular as Cena, or even more so on certain nights. You know, so yeah, I think that he's been doing a pretty good job of building himself up.
Who in your opinion, would you like to see elevated that isn't?
It's hard to say because it's got to be up to the guys.
Right.
You know, I mean, you can try and elevate someone, or you can try and not elevate someone. But if you have that character and that charisma and those ideas, sometimes you got to take the axe in your hand and swing it yourself. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of guys that are doing good. And it's just, sometimes you got to know when to say no to something that they want you to do, not in a bad way. Mm-hmm. It's just that sometimes it's not the right decision, and you have to be able to stand up for yourself, not as an asshole or an egotistical egomaniac, but just as a businessman. And a lot of those guys don't have that confidence because they're maybe scared of getting heat or scared of getting in trouble, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have a creative person, I'm sure Lennon and McCartney didn't agree on every single song they wrote either. You disagree a bit, and that's how you get a better result. So, but there's a lot of guys. I think Ziggler's doing really good now, and I still think Swagger could do better. They could do more with him. Yeah, just off the top of my head, those are the guys that kind of pop in there right away. Mark Henry's doing great, you know. So yeah, there's some guys, but you never know. Someone's going to have to take a chance and do it themselves.
Right. The latest rumor concerning yourself at the moment is that you're going to return at Royal Rumble. Can you confirm or deny this?
Well, there's been rumors that have been coming back pretty much every week since I left. You know what I mean? It's like this week he's coming back, that week he's coming back, this week he's coming back, that week he's coming back. So I still have no plans. I know people get mad at me when I say that, but it's like, you know, I just am enjoying what I'm doing right now, and if other people don't understand that, I'm sorry. I apologize. You know, I never said I wouldn't go back to wrestling again, but as of right now, we've been doing so much stuff with the band, and then when we're done this tour, I have some stuff coming up in Hollywood that I'll be working on, some stuff that kind of transpired from Dancing with the Stars, and you know, I've never considered myself just a wrestler. I'm an entertainer, and from the moment I started when I was 19, it's been that way. I mean, I've been playing in bands since I was 12, so it's like I've been a musician much longer than I've been a wrestler, and wrestling took off first, and I love it, but I'm also loving the fact that the band is really growing and spreading their wings and doing some cool stuff as well. So it's one of those things where when the time comes, if it comes, I'll know it, and maybe I'll have a really cool idea that no one's ever seen before, and when that happens, then I'll think about it. Until then, I'm just happy with doing all this other stuff I've been doing.
It's great. Is there anything in wrestling that you haven't done yet that you'd like to do? No. Nothing's done?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if I never wrestle again, I would have no regrets. In 2005, when I left, there was a million things that I would have maybe have said that I didn't really, you know, that I would not have regrets, but I would have. And then when I came back from 2007 to 2010, that was probably the 3 best years of my career, as far as performance, as far as matches, as far as, you know, accolades, you know, championships, whatever. So when I was done, it's like I could be done, and I know some people don't like that or understand it. I do not want the big WrestleMania send-off with the cheering and the thing. No effing way, man. No fucking way. I want to just disappear and never be seen again. You know what I mean? So if that happens, then that happens. But we'll see. We'll see. You never know.
What's left for Chris Jericho in 2011, and what can we expect from you and Fozzy as well in 2012?
Well, we kind of talked about it. I mean, this tour ends November 20th, and then we go back home for a couple weeks, and I head back to LA, go to the Metallica show, do Christmas with my family, and then January 8th, I believe, I start filming a new project in LA, which will go about 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And then just take it from there. And also we'll be doing the new record. I think I'll be recording my vocals in February. And then, you know, whatever happens until January, or sorry, until June, then we want to come back over here, do the festivals. Hopefully we'll get to do Download again this year. More of the European ones. We want to do the Uproar tour next year. We want to tour with Bullet for My Valentine. We want to tour with Avenged Sevenfold. There's a lot of plans on the table that we just have to wait and see. That's what it's like. You never know for sure what you're going to do. You just have to try and point the ship in the right direction and see what happens.
So that's it.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Very cool.
As always.
Glad to see you guys, man.
You too.